Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here to share a layout that I made with my April 2016 Counterfeit Kit Challenge. Kit. Say that fast 5 times. Anyway, this is a layout that I put together with my kit. I was at the very end of my kit and down to scraps, and so I threw in a couple of 6x6 pieces of pattern paper and came up with some more combinations of paper to create the layout that I'm doing here. The photo is of my sister and I at our family reunion in 2016. And as you can see, those strips of paper there are it was really just one little remnant of paper, and I cut it down to appear like it's going behind all of that paper. I have an 4x6 acetate piece there, and I cut it in half. I'm also going to use that on the top and the bottom. I kind of throw all of my scraps over to one side as I'm creating, and then I do dig through them randomly. But when I got to the bottom of this kit was huge. There were, I'm sure, well over 100 pages, 100 pieces of paper in it. And so when I got to the end of the kit, I had all of these fairly large pieces of scrap. And as I was getting ready to destash or disassemble the kit, I noticed that there were some scraps that really looked nice together. And so I started gathering them up in little piles and decided, okay, I'll use all of these together to create a layout. And I'll just add, some 6x6 pieces of paper from the 6x6 pads that I added in. And I have all those stacks over to the right side there under my tape runner. I know it's hard to tell, but there really is a stack of scraps there that are put together by colors and patterns and things. I don't use 100% of them, but I do use quite a few of them. Even that little piece of cut off there, I had put it on, or I had inked up the edges of another piece of paper and then decided to trim it down. And so that's the piece that I trimmed down, but because it was one of my favorite colors of green, I left it in my scraps and decided to add it in. I'm sure I'm not the only person who does this. The frame that's there was actually a frame that had a scroll type pattern on it. I trimmed that down and cut all the scroll work off. That was just too fussy for me. I found this little piece. It was a My Mind's Eye piece. And I trimmed it down as well and put it on another piece of paper to border it and decided to use it. I'm adding some rub-ons to the bottom of the paper there. Sorry I left that in. I didn't intend to. I thought I'd cut out all the where I was placing rub-ons, but that one went on fairly fast. That was an American Crafts rub-on, an older one, and they go down. The American Crafts dry out really, really quickly if they're not kept in like Ziploc baggies. And I find that the best way to get them down on paper is to use a sharp edge. My normal tool to put rub-ons down doesn't really work very well with the older ones that are kind of dried out and stuck to the carrier sheet. Anyway, I tore a piece of washi tape in half and put a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. I had that little metal buckle there, and I wanted to add it to the front of the photo. And I had the twine already through it, I had put that together for a different layout or a card or something, and I ended up not using it. But I wanted to use it here for some reason, and so I thought, well, why not? And so rather than try and fit that back there and then create a big bump, what I do is I tuck it around and then add some foam adhesive to the back to make it stand up a little bit so that you don't see, so that the photo doesn't bow, I guess is what I'm saying. Sorry, long day at work and my words are kind of leaving me at this point. Just adding more foam tape on. And you can see I kind of pre-planned the layout as I was looking through the scraps and such, and put everything like I wanted it, where there was very minimal cutting to do. And so I did that a lot with these last several scrap layouts that I did. And it just saved me a little bit of time. Instead of it being like an hour-long video, it ends up being a 30-minute video because I've got everything kind of planned out there. I took that on that carrier sheet that I have is a word. It says friends, and it's the last word that I had, and I put it right over the tape, right over the rub-ons there, and then I'm going to use that rub-on, which is really old, and it says sister, and it's got a glittered look to it. Again, I used the sharp edge of that little palette knife and mashed it down, and it went well. Looking through my other rub-ons to see if there's anything else that I want to use. And I think I do add a couple more rub-ons up to that top corner. I think of rub-ons not quite as finishing touches, but as, that step between completing the layout and the paper selection and the finishing touch. So basically part of the embellishing of it. And that is a part of a frame that I had previously cut out a portion of to use, and so I had that little corner left, and so I decided to use it up there. Still going through the rub-ons and still looking for things that's the part. I had all the paper laid out, but I did not have like embellishments laid out or stickers. So I'm trying out some of those little stickers to see if I wanted to use any. And I think because of the creaminess of the layout, I didn't want to use anything quite so stark white, even though that little buckle on there is stark white. That journal spot there is like, I think it's called coaster board. And it's an SEI product, and it had a little tag shape on the top of it that I cut off, and I'll do my journaling on it here in a little bit. Oh, looks like I'm adding another rub-on. Thinking about it. Isn't it funny? Before I add the other rub-on, I'm thinking about, okay, do I want to leave this corner like I have it, or do I want to cover it up? And then I'm like, yeah, no. So I end up taking that corner piece there and just tucking it behind that portion of my layout. It kind of balances down at the bottom corner where there's so much there that ties the corner of the paper under the photo to the bottom corner, and I don't really have anything at the top that pulls that top corner up. So I added that bigger sticker there to kind of pull things up. Just adding some punch out tags there. They're ones that I had just punched out of scraps. I used my Sizzix and an old Quick Cuts die to create those tabs. Here I used my butterfly punch, again with the scraps, and went through and punched out tons of butterflies. And then I look for a place to put that little rub on, and I end up putting it there on the journal spot. And you'll see it down at the end. I do have some close-ups of the photo of the layout. And now I realize I wanted to add some washi tape. Isn't that always how it goes? You decide you want washi tape after the fact. And so here I am adding a little bit of washi tape in there. And it takes a little while to get it all positioned correctly. But I do. It's really getting close to the end of this video, and I'm just adding on some finishing touches, some pearls and such. Anyway, if you create kits with your stash and make layouts throughout the month, I would love to see the kits that you create and the layouts that you create. So please leave a link to your YouTube channel or to your blog down in the comments section. I would love to stop by and visit you and, you know, see what you create on your channel. As for me, I try to be consistent with putting videos up, but with my job, sometimes that's not always possible. And I don't know, I haven't figured out the whole, you know, monetizing your account so that you can schedule videos. Haven't got into that. Haven't really taken the time to look through all of that. Anyway, if you enjoyed watching this video, I would love it if you would flick me a thumbs up. I would love it also if this is a type of video that interests you, seeing a layout made out of your stash. Please subscribe. I would love for you to stick around and be able to watch the videos that I create, and I hope they inspire you to dig through your supplies and into your stash and create more layouts. I think that's the thing about this community, is we all want to support and encourage each other to use the things that we have. Anyway, thanks everybody for sticking around and watching my video, and you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next video.